Since the mid-2000s, the internet and some of the most intelligent and creative people in the world have been coming up with original horror ideas, from the absolutely terrifying to the surreal to the outright violent. These ideas go everywhere and anywhere they want to. From the very simple ideas of things like Jeff the Killer and Slender Man to the more extreme and unending worlds of SCPs and some of the terrifying secrets held by the Monuments Mythos and the Mandela Catalog. We've all been traumatized by simple internet lore horror. No one knows where the ideas come from. No one knows who comes up with the ideas unless they make themselves known. The point is, we are all fascinated by it. What's really interesting is now, pretty much since the last 2 years or so, these ideas are going from just ideas and YouTube videos to Hollywood. That's what this episode of Saturday of Dead is going to be. We're going to discuss some of the upcoming horror movies and the success of something like, Backrooms, and talk about, is this the future of horror? We're going to find out today. This is Saturday of the Dead.
Get real. You're not even scary. You're not even scary.
I said, the success of Backrooms is kind of where this idea comes from, because it has made way more money than it was made for, if that makes any sense. For those of you who don't know the Backrooms lore, I'm going to give you a little bit of it. Same thing with all these other things that I'm going to talk about later. I'll give you a little bit of the lore of what it is and what it looks like for a horror movie, because a lot of these have been announced as movies or shows. Backrooms, of course, has already come out. It's done really well. The guy who came up with the Backrooms original concept, or at least the original animations, found footage videos is what they were. Kane Parsons, or Kane Pixels, you may know him as. He was involved with that movie. All good stuff. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen lots of clips doing the rounds, and it looks fantastic. Looks like Hollywood A24 did a really good job in seeing Kane's vision come to the big screen. And that's so important, because what the Backrooms was is this idea that you can clip out of reality and you end up in this other world, other universe, maybe it's a pocket universe, where everything is just this dull yellow wallpaper, the carpet is slightly wet, and the lights just buzz all the time. You know the buzzing lights, just above your head. Over the years, it became a much bigger world. At first, it was just that. And there were monsters and creepy stuff down there, and yada, yada, yada. But over the years, there were more rooms added. There's the pool rooms, there's the playground, there's like multiple versions of the pool rooms too, I've noticed. And then there's the original Backrooms. I think there's a hotel as well. It goes nuts. It goes on for a while. And basically, after this success of Backrooms, Hollywood, I guess, more directors and actors and things like that are announcing these projects based on more ideas that were more or less come up with on the internet. And that sounds worse than it is. If you know any of these stories we're about to talk about, you know what I mean. I think the first one, the one that caught me off guard the most, it's hard to describe why it caught me off guard the most, because I'm thinking about the other ones, but the Siren Head adaptation caught me by surprise. It is a cryptid. It's even a kaiju if you want. It's a giant monster. And that shouldn't be a big surprise. But again, it's an internet thing someone just came up with one day. And I do apologize. If any of the creators of these series, stories, whatever, watch this video, I apologize if I don't say you by name. But this is more of just a conversation, a discussion, not a deep dive. Like I said earlier, I will describe the lore to an extent. And then it's up to you guys to go find it for yourself. So, Siren Head is just a big tornado siren turned into a creature, basically. You know, it makes all the tornado siren sounds and all the alarms and all that. I don't know why it exists. Like, I could explain to a certain extent what the Backrooms were. Siren Head, as far as I know, is just a big creature that will kill you. One of my favorites from the earlier days of these ideas, just because I'm a big kaiju fan, And some people go, oh, so you like Godzilla? Yes, but I like all giant monsters. So of course Siren Head is a big favorite. It's getting a movie adaptation, which I'm really excited about. I don't care if it's a movie, like an actual movie, or if it's found footage. I think a lot of people are hoping a lot of these will be found footage, which we'll talk about one in a little bit that I'm ecstatic for. I'll try to leave the best for last as far as I'm concerned. But if it just wants to be a movie, that's fine. I don't really matter either way to me. That was English, but it was all mixed up. The next one I want to talk about is the Monuments Mythos. This is one I haven't even watched yet, which again makes a video like this a little more interesting, I think, if I don't even know what I'm talking about. But I did Google it. And basically it's the idea that many famous statues and monuments are actually holding untold horrors in place, basically. They're like locks and doors. I think one of them is even the Statue of Liberty, for example. So that's a really cool idea to turn to. I think it's show. I think they're turning it into a show. So again, I don't know much about it, but it sounds super cool, and I'm going to watch it eventually. It's another idea that I don't know if anybody would have had. I'm not saying there's no imagination left in Hollywood, and that's what some people would say. I'm just saying I don't know if the imagination's to the level where they could come up with something like that. Sounds easy to come up with, but I had never heard of that until it was announced as a show. So another really fun one, another really exciting one, in my opinion. And I haven't even seen it. Excuse me. There's also Cartoon Cat, who was made by the Trevor Monster, I think. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's, again, another one I don't know much about. So I'm going to kind of leave that one there. Just look up Cartoon Cat, Trevor Project, or something like that. So that you can get an idea of what that is. I don't know much about it. I just found out about it recently because, again, it's going to become a movie, which I saw some of the artwork. I think it's artwork. It's like a... I can't think of what they're called now, but it's like one of those. Creepypasta, basically. There's the word. I knew it would come to me. But some of these other ones, again, are really exciting, like the Mandela Catalog. If you don't know what the Mandela Catalog is, all I can really do is tell you to go watch it, because it's harder to explain than you think it would be. It is basically another universe again. It's this idea that the Mandela Catalog tells you basically that there are doppelgangers, and they will look like you, they will sound like you, and you're not supposed to talk to them, look at them, let them in, all this kind of stuff. Each Mandela Catalog tape gives you different instructions for different creatures, because at first it's the doppelgangers, then it becomes sometimes their faces will be just slightly off, or sometimes they'll be 10 feet tall and stuff like that. Here's what you do for each version of the entity. So that's a cool one. That one probably should be found footage. A lot of that is based on VHS tapes and analog horror. So that's one of the really big ones that I think is important to get right. You don't want to mess with that one too much. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. Again, how do we get to that point? Of course, we've had the back rooms. I'm trying to make sure I get all the big ones. So I made a big post about this recently. The pools is supposed to be another one, supposedly, from what I've read. This December, it's basically the pool rooms, which is a different section of the back rooms. So that sounds cool. It's not a direct sequel to the Backrooms movie that just came out. That just came out. So if there is going to be... Sorry. If there is going to be a sequel, that was like a classic car that's a speaker. Just knocked it. That's the second time it's fallen. It fell during my first attempt at this. Thankfully, this skull is still there. Anyway, I don't want to mess up all this by missing a big one. I don't think I have. I think I've gotten all the ones I'm aware of out. I think that's part of the reason I like the way this show is set up. It's every 3 weeks, or my 3-week schedule, is because it gave time for more announcements, including, this is a big one I'm going to talk about for a hot minute, VHS SCP. I cannot even begin to tell you how excited I am about that. If you're a longtime fan of this channel, you'll know that my second longest video that I've ever made was me ranking or rating, I guess. It was a tier list. That's what it was. Tier listing the entire VHS franchise. Every segment from the original VHS all the way to VHS Halloween, which is the most recent one. It's my favorite franchise next to the Conjuring movies, which includes like Annabelle and all that stuff. So it means a lot to me that they're doing that, because the SCPs are probably my favorite thing that internet lore horror has ever come up with. If you want a crash course on SCPs, I'm probably not the guy to do it. You can just look it up. There are a few good YouTube channels that I've been skimming lately. I don't remember all of them. I've just been kind of learning my own SCP lore. I've known about SCPs for a long time. Not long enough, but for a few years now at least. But I never dove into the explanations and the stories and the recreations and all that kind of stuff. But now I have, and I know I'm kind of like babbling to the point, but SCPs are basically also anomalies. But this time it's a foundation, SCP Foundation, secure, contain, protect. And their job is to find these anomalies and do those three things: secure them, contain them, and then protect either them or the outside world. And there's thousands. I think I read online there's almost 10,000 of them. And they're all numbered from SCP-001 to SCP. I think there's a... You could literally type in SCP and then any random number that is anywhere between 2 to 4 digits worth. I haven't done 5 digits yet. And you'll find one. Some of the more famous ones, SCP-682 is an immortal killing machine giant lizard. 682 is known as the hard-to-kill lizard, but he's literally immune to everything. And if you do kill him, he comes back to life and has a new armament or armor or something, genetic mutation basically, against it. He is mostly kept in a vat of acid. Morty! No, he really is. It's, again, according to the lore, it's a vat of acid that dries and refills and drains and refills, because he won't kill him, but it'll also keep him suspended in one spot. So there's lots of incidents about this you can read online. There's, I think, SCP-173 is the original SCP, the very first one ever. So whoever came up with that came up with the SCP idea from there. It spawned from 173, which is a statue that has a creepy looking face and like drawings on its face. And if you even blink while staring at it, it moves like that. So the Weeping Angels, basically, from Doctor Who. If you know, you know. If you don't know, don't worry about it. But yeah, it will kill you and snap your neck in an instant. I'm not going to go through a million SCPs, but I will sit here and blow smoke up the ass of my favorite SCP, SCP-096, which is known as the Crying Man or the Wailing Man. He's a tall, skinny creature, cryptid, humanoid, that spends all its time walking around, sitting down, and crying. And if you look at its face, it will chase you relentlessly until it has a chance to tear you to shreds. The stories say that it tears people apart to the point where there's nothing left, where you actually can't find anything left of these people. So there's that, but also you can't look at its face at all. You can't look at its face through a camera, through a picture. There's something called the 4-pixel incident. I'm gonna let you guys look that up yourselves. But yeah, you can't look at it at all, or it will just relentlessly kill you. So it's kept in a room, and nobody ever even looks at the cameras. It just sits there. So, and these go on forever. If you don't know what the VHS franchise is, I continue to babble the fuck on. This is an important video to me, okay? I love these internet lore things becoming horror movies. The VHS series is an analog horror movie. Each one has 5 or 6 mini movies in it, and they're all found footage, except for like one. We don't talk about VHS viral unless we absolutely have to. And there's usually a central, like there's 5 movies around a central movie, something like that is one of the best ways to describe it, I guess. So it's really cool. I love it. I love that you're watching these VHS found footage things. I'll be right back. I literally can't pause it right now to edit this part out, but any hoodles. Excuse me. There have been 7 VHS movies thus far. There's VHS 1, 2, and Viral, which was the first 3, the original trilogy. Then there's the Years trilogy, VHS, I think it's 94, 99, and 85. They're all really good. And then VHS Halloween came out last year, and that was awesome too. It had at least one of the segments ended up on my tier list. So you take these 2 ideas, right? The idea of multiple found footage movies in one, and the SCPs, which there are thousands of, 10,000, you smoosh them together, it's going to be perfect. The idea from what I read is that it's found footage from the Foundation. Like Foundation footage that was reviewed or watched for whatever reason. So probably see a couple famous ones. I've seen a lot of people comment and ask, oh, can we get some more less famous ones? It doesn't really work that way. If you do SCP-2791, which I just made that number up, no one's going to know what that is. But if you do 96, 173, 682, again, I could go on. People are going to know those ones by heart. So really excited about that. And the idea I want to talk about now is what else is there? And I don't know everything. I mentioned in the opening Jeff the Killer. Again, don't know a whole lot about that one, but I know it exists. And it's probably a good idea for a horror movie. Slender Man got just the worst deal. Like, the Slender Man movie is garbage. So much so that people are saying, I hope they don't Slender Man these movies. Like, it's being used as a negative connotation for these future films. So I hope we get a Slender Man remake, because if Backrooms was as good as everyone says it is, and I do believe them, I'm not going to sit here and go, well, they're probably lying, then there's no reason to believe this won't be good as well. There's no reason to believe that all these movies won't be good in their own way. If they fuck it up, we'll know, right? If you're a longtime fan of things like SCPs, like I am, you'll know if VHS SCP is terrible. If you're a big Siren Head fan, you got like Siren Head posters and you played that weird Siren Head love game, then you will know if they mess up Siren Head and their lore and whatever. And I could go on and on. I do think that this, for the moment, could be the future of horror, as is original movies. I don't want to get into a separate subject here, but original movies are doing really well as well. And then you've got video game adaptations that are finally taking off, which we can all thank Markiplier and Iron Lung for. I'm not saying that was the best movie ever. I haven't even seen it. What I am saying is that for at least one day, Iron Lung was the #1 movie in America. So these movies are being made right now. And people keep complaining that there are no original ideas. And sure, taking lore from the internet, taking a video game, stuff like that, sure, it isn't original, but it's better than a rehashing of a horror movie you've seen 62,912 times, to the point where there's kills in it that you've seen too many times. That's why movies like Sinners, Obsession, Companion, they're all doing so well, and people love them so much because they're original. Thing about Backrooms and movies like Backrooms and, the future, is that these are original ideas. Hollywood is just taking them and putting them to screen. And in my opinion, we should all be excited about it, because that could be your idea. You can pop on the internet tomorrow and come up with this great horror idea that takes off, and in 3 or 4 years, some Hollywood agent is contacting you and going, hey, we want to turn that shit into a movie. That's all I'm saying. Watch out, Brooklyn. I think that we are on the right track. I know Hollywood has lost a lot of its luster over the years. People are getting tired of Avengers movies or whatever the case may be. Careful, sweetie. Sorry. This happens in my videos. But it's getting better. I think horror is in the best place it's been in a real long time. Maybe not ever, because there's the 70s and 80s. We all know how good that was. But maybe the first time since the 70s and 80s, horror is in like top form. And I think stuff like this is only going to make it better. I will also point out at the end of this video that not only is there supposed to be a Poppy Playtime movie, I don't know whatever happened to that, but apparently a few years ago, Michael Bay was on the way to directing a Skibidi Toilet movie. So you want to talk about internet lore horror. If there's anybody who can make a movie about Skibidi Toilet, it's fucking Michael Bay. If you don't know what I'm talking about, for the love of God, don't look it up. I think that's good enough for now. I want these videos to start being longer, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and talk your ears off when I've made my point, right? All these things are great. You should go check them out before they become movies so you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and leave comments down below. All that stuff. In 3 weeks, we are going to be doing the future of Legends. We're going to be talking about all these upcoming big remakes, especially the Nightmare on Elm Street one. I'd love to talk about it right now, but I'm going to give it some time to see what happens. But before that, tomorrow, a special bonus episode of Sunday of the Dead that I'm going to leave as a secret. I want you guys to tune in tomorrow and check it out. I'm very excited for that episode. I'm going to be emotional. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Until then, this is JT Channel. I am JT. I'll see you in the next one.